Huzzah! Another victory for the missing episode animations! I've been anticipating this release, well, ever since it was announced. Finally, a physical representation of the second of David Whittaker's psychoanalyses of the Doctor's most formidable enemies, the Daleks. As well as the introduction of Victoria, one of Doctor Who's most underrated companions. Of course, I could bang on about the story itself forever, but that's not specifically what we're here for today, of course. We are here for whether or not this animated recreation does the story justice. Short answer, yes. Long answer, keep watching. Full disclosure, yes, I watched the story in black and white in 4x3 with the surviving episode 2 because authenticity. I'm sad like that. But yeah, the animation, if I could liken it to any of the releases we've already had, I'd say imagine the general style of the Faceless Ones animation, but with Daleks from Power of the Daleks in there. So yeah, it's not quite Macra Terra caliber, but to be fair, I don't think anything else ever will be again. But that's not a slight on this, because this is still a great product. The character animation here is pretty great and fluid, and the body language seems to improve with each release we have, because I was really impressed with it this time around. Specifically in two moments, both of them fight scenes involving Jamie. The first is the fight with Jamie versus Kemmel, and the second is the fight with Jamie versus Arthur? Ruth's husband. Both are fast, frantic moments that are represented pretty well, and I can't fault them here. Nope, character animation already puts this in the higher tier of missing episode animations. Now, the likenesses of the characters themselves, for everyone that isn't the Doctor and Jamie, perfect. Edward Waterfield looks like Edward Waterfield, Victoria looks like Victoria, Maxtable looks like Maxtable, so on and so forth. The Doctor and Jamie, though, I'm not going to say they don't look like themselves, but I do think they are the weakest likenesses, which is odd considering, you know, they're the main characters. Like, again, they're not awful representations, but I've seen them done better in other stories. I dare say that's the weakest aspect of this animation, but if that's the weakest aspect, then this must be good. But of course, there's also the backdrops, which I dare say are probably the best of any missing episode animation we've had so far. I can't fault them. They are very crisp, but also pretty distinct. Of course, that's not to discredit the environmental work on previous missing episode animations, but there's only so much you can do with colony corridors. But the work they do here with an antique shop, Maxtable's Victorian house, and the Dalek city on Skaro, it is delicious. And the backdrop's utilizations of cel-shaded elements is seamless. Some absolutely impeccable lighting and shading and particle effects as well. Particularly in the coffee bar in part 1, like I noticed there was some subtle smoke in the air, probably from cigarettes, and ooh, that detail. But also just across the board, like the lighting in every room and the shading in the dark of the corridors as Jamie's going about the quest, and even the Dalek dome lights and the Emperor Dalek himself just... Ooh, these missing episode animations have almost always excelled at, you know, the lighting itself. Something I noticed is that in quite a lot of the conversation scenes, they did utilize POV techniques a lot. Like, for instance, imagine there's a scene with the Doctor and Jamie, like, you cut to the Doctor from Jamie's point of view, and the Doctor says, "Jamie, we must do this!" And then, you know, cut to Jamie from the Doctor's point of view. "Oh, aye, Doctor, I don't know about that." Again, it's not a constant repetitious thing. They do, like, cut to side views of the characters talking and stuff, but it's just a repeating trend that I noticed quite a lot throughout the project. And it works quite well in a few instances, particularly when Maxtable hypnotizes Molly, so there's that. Now, that's not to say there weren't a few errors here and there, because I did find the frame rate to be a little choppy in some areas, and I also found some character poses to be a bit inconsistent between angles, but, you know, that's bound to happen. But of course, that barely matters. Especially in comparison to the main attraction, the Dalek animations. Basically, if you've watched the Power of the Daleks animation, you know what you're in for here. While the humanoid characters are 2D animated, the Daleks themselves are 3D cel-shaded products, and they look great. Like, even as far back as the original release of the Power of the Daleks animation, the animation team had already handled the Daleks pretty much perfectly, and they don't disappoint here either. And the best moments of animation concerning the Daleks are A, the fight scene at the end, the final end, just the widespread destruction of the Daleks. Ooh, I can't fault it. It's delicious. But also, obviously, the dizzy Daleks. It's a 10 out of 10 moment. They represent it flawlessly. Also, there's this adorable moment where one of the Dalek humans gets blown up and one of the other Dalek humans prods it, and it's... Oh, and also, side note, you know in episode 3 when Victoria's being moved from one room to the south wing of the house, I did notice that they did kind of take influence from the recreations in the Loose Cannon recon as a basis. So yeah, on the whole, definitely recommended. If we're going to compare this with the Power of the Daleks animation, I don't know, what you prefer is entirely down to what exactly you're looking for. I think Evil does the character animation better, but I think Power does the character likenesses better. So, you know, pick your poison, or your whatever the positive equivalent of a poison is. Pick your good Dalek story. I personally go for Power anyway, mostly because I just prefer Power as a story, but they're both pretty well done. And as for where this ranks overall, well, Macra's obviously the best, then probably the Moon Base, and then Power Special Edition. But this probably wouldn't be far behind. This is probably in my top 5 of missing episode animations, so how about that? Lovely to plug up another gap in my shelf. What delicious Troughton, yes. That said, it's been announced that the next missing episode animation is Galaxy 4. A Hartnell story? My Troughton loyalty is hurt by this. Oh, don't worry, I'll still be picking it up. I don't know if I'll be reviewing it for the channel. I think another member wants to review it. I won't say who, I'll leave that for y'all to speculate about. Who's going to be reviewing Galaxy 4? Comment your answers below. Or just think them in your head. Or don't care. Whatever's fine by me. But you know, it's great that Hartnell's getting some love as well as Troughton, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, that's all from me. Bottom line, great animation. Pick this up instead of Web of Fear. Bye.